January 1, 2025. Happy New Year, world. I am just putting on the last bit of touches, get my gearing on here because I'm going out for my morning ride. Today I decided to sleep in a few more minutes because I've been coping with a cold. You may still hear some of that in my voice now. I do not have a fancy bike. My bike is probably 15, 16 years old. I've used this bike, I don't know, for years. I've only had it downtime on it a couple of times, mainly due to concerns with repairs. Right now, you're looking at an older 105 cassette. It's older because what happens in the winter, I tend to put my aluminum wheels on the bike as opposed to the carbon, due to the fact that the roads are much harder. The asphalt starts to freeze up and tends to stay in a state of freeze until the summer, because it doesn't really get warm here until probably midsummer. Lots of hills to cover today. I did go out yesterday after the 2 days ago riding indoors on my training setup, indoor training setup. But the sun is tweaking today. It's been tweaking all morning. I've been sitting here watching it while I was trying to recuperate from this cold. And I finally decided, you know what? I'm not going to skip a day. Today's January 1, 2025. Happy New Year, world. What a better way for me to start my year off. I don't really set a whole lot of New Year goals. I try to utilize a pattern of goals that I tend to work with on a daily basis. You know, when it comes to exercise, I mean, every time you go to a doctor, you're pretty much told that you have to associate exercise in your life, and we try to do that. Sometimes it can be a little difficult depending on how stressful your work situations, or if you work for yourself, you know, that's got stress in it too. But I'm kind of doing a combination of both. Still working a regular full-time job, but to some degree, at this point, because of my period of time with that company, I'm also working on my own business. New Year's was yesterday, New Year's Eve. I don't really do anything for those kinds of holidays anymore. It's just a break from a regular 9 to 5 for me. I spent the whole night. I think I started around 3 o'clock yesterday and didn't finish up until like 2 or 3 this morning, working on calculating my taxes for my Bitcoin trades. There's a couple of new laws that are supposed to go into place, and if you're transferring Bitcoin from one company to the other, holding companies or whatever have you, they don't really keep very good statistics or any information in regards to that. So you tend to have to keep your own purchasing costs. Because that's something that just for some strange, odd reason is not calculated in the mix. This is by no means any kind of financial advice. This is my channel. I do finance, business, and exercising for road biking. I do not have a new bike. Caveat in tour, definitely not giving any legal advice or financial advice. So anything you hear on my station here is strictly entertainment. So you take it based on what your concept of how you feel about that situation is. Yes, I do at least 5 to 6 60-mile rides daily. As I mentioned, I've been kind of reacting to a cold that I picked up probably maybe from riding, but I think I picked it up from around persons in the holiday of Christmas. And I'm really sort of still dealing with it. You can hear it in my voice, it's pretty deep. Sound like one of these characters that used to do the music years ago that had the deep voices. I don't want to mention any names, but we can use our imaginations about that. At any rate, I am preparing, just watered up here, check some of the stats on the bike to make sure everything's equalized. I'm getting ready to get out here on this highway. I drive in a city, I ride in a city. Sometimes I have to pump myself up for that because there is a lot that goes into trying to ride a bike in a city environment. You really have to be careful. And I don't recommend it. By all means, do wear your helmets. But the reason why I made this video is because today is January 1, 2025. We survived another year. We've got a whole lot of changes coming in front of us politically, financially. I mean, there are a lot of things that are going to be occurring. And we have to, find some level of value in it. We have to take on the fact that, there's change. Change has been inevitable in this world, at least ever since I've been here. Stability, minute things are stable, but consequential things, especially things dealing with money, are constantly under change. And, they're under, to some degree, they're under attack. So you have to have some ability to try to maintain some stability in your concentration of what you do. As far as for me, like I said, I tend to put a lot of emphasis on work, but I work for myself. I mean, yes, I work a 9 to 5, just like most, but my majority of my activity, my brain power goes into trying to figure out how am I going to help myself. I need a new bike. This bike looks like it's brand new, but this bike is probably 16, 17 years old. I can't even keep track of it anymore. I need a new bike. But to pay $10,000 minimum for a decent bike, I mean, they're nickel and diamond for every little adjective that you add to a bike nowadays. So, no, I'm not buying a new one. I'm going to run this one until it breaks. It's a fully carbon bike. It's a 105. I mean, it's old. It's not a name brand bike. It's a knockoff, pretty much. I tend to work with a lot of knockoff stuff because sometimes you find that the quality is the same or better. So I tend to work with a bike that, is strong. This bike takes a lot. You really have to be a strong person to ride a bike like this because this bike is made hard. There's nothing soft. There's no softness put in it. You put 60 miles in it, you're going to feel every mile of it. You're going to sweat. It takes a little bit more work to ride. But the thing about it is, it's a 105. I've also got a Di2. I can't tell the difference. The Di2 is newer, but this is my training bike. I use this every day. I use this on a trainer as well. The Di2, I mean, I bought it because I had a pretty good deal on it. But at the same time, save your money. Don't spend money unnecessarily trying to buy a new bike. You can probably get one at your local discount store for less. I mean, way less. And you maybe change your wheels if you don't like them. change your seat if you don't like it. But still, even if you do all of that, it's going to cost you so much less than what you're going to pay for something brand new from a dealer. Here's the thing. It's January 1. We make these goals. I always say, don't worry about making those promises. Sometimes you can keep them, sometimes not. I always say, just set up a plan, put it together, and keep a routine going. Don't spend a whole lot of money. One of the best exercises you can get is a 50-mile ride on a road bike. If you don't like road biking, do trail biking, whatever it is. The exercise is free. You're doing it. You're not paying somebody $1,000 an hour to tell you that you need to work out, or you need, your heart needs a little bit more conditioning, or you need to control your blood pressure, or whatever it is. I can tell you, physically I'm 100%. I haven't had any problems with anything. I've been riding probably, 20 years. It's just kind of started when I came out of high school. And of course, I had a commitment there that I had to do there for a little while, for a few years. And that kind of sub related my system. But I did pick it right back up. And I can tell you it was a job trying to do that when I did have to come back to it. But you can do it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to get over this cold. But yes. Road biking is something that is good for you. Any kind of biking. The thing is just putting the time into it, the distance, and making sure that you're putting in adequate stats. You want to make sure your stats are good. Your VOP max and your training loads. You want to make sure you're taking care of all of that. Yesterday I was at 364 training load wise, which is very strange because typically I usually have a lot higher than 364. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but I tend not to rely on those systems that come with these computers. When it comes to bike computers, that's another thing. Save your money. If you can find one for $50, I mean, the thing is, all you're doing is getting exercise out of this. You're not an Olympic athlete, or, if you decide you want to be an Olympic athlete, then by all means, if you think you got to spend the money, go ahead and do it. I can tell you this one here cost me $600. It pretty much does the same as any other. It has failed me quite a few times. I had one point, I had 26,000 miles on this up to like a month ago, and it just failed. It kept failing until finally I had to reset it. I reset it and wiped out everything. So I'm back down to maybe now 1,000 miles over the last couple of weeks. But don't spend a whole lot of money on things that you're not. This is not going to be your life. If you feel that you've got the extra money to do it, then by all means do it. Sell a couple of Bitcoin or whatever. I don't know, but it costs almost a full Bitcoin now to get a decent bike. But at any rate, I am getting ready to go out here and enjoy this beautiful sunlight in my face. Sweat. It's probably like 40 something degrees out there this morning. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube. I hope you take some of this information to heart. Exercise is important to our bodies, and just like, repairs on a car, we have to take care of ourselves. And this is how I find to do it. And today, January 1, 2025, I can't see a better day to get started. It's like a normal day for me, but for you, might be worth taking that bike out, dusting it off, get out there. If you're not in a top fit performance, just go out there, run 5 miles on it. Next day try 6 miles and just build yourself up. And at some point this becomes something that you love to do. And although biking is not an easy task, anybody that tells you it is, they're not really riding their bikes. I can tell you from experience. I wish I had the time and want to put money into getting a camera and just give you an overview of my total rides, but it's grueling. It's Tour de France, all of these types of episodes and drama that we watch in summer. I can show you that every weekend because that's usually how things go on the weekend, because I might go 100 to 200 miles on the weekends, but during the week, because of responsibilities, I'm only out there roughly about 60 miles, and I've got to punish myself to get through that 60 miles because I just don't have the time. And the traffic's always impeding too, because traffic is building constantly. So you want to get out there, get it done as quick as you can. And at the same time, relieve whatever tensions you may be dealing with. It gives you a little bit of time to think, but don't think too hard, because if you're on the road, you want to be thinking about that traffic and being safe. Thank you so much. Happy New Year again, world. Thank you for listening to my YouTube.